My beloved child, pause for a moment and feel this before you read another word, because something unseen has already begun shifting in your favor, and if you open your heart to this message in time, you will witness a reversal so unexpected, so precise, that even those who doubted you will struggle to understand how everything changed so quickly. There were moments when you felt overlooked, misunderstood, quietly judged by people who smiled in front of you but questioned you behind closed doors, moments when your silence was mistaken for weakness and your patience was interpreted as defeat. But what they could not see was the preparation happening beneath the surface of your life, the silent construction of strength, clarity, and resilience that no one applauded because no one noticed. Do not dismiss this as ordinary encouragement. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You thought the delays were rejection. You believed the closed doors were proof that you were not enough. Yet every pause was positioning. Every setback was refinement. Every tear you wiped away in private was building a composure that now radiates without you trying. The ones who underestimated you measured your worth by temporary circumstances, but what is unfolding now is not temporary. It is strategic. It is timed. And it is so precise that when the shift becomes visible, it will not require you to argue, defend, or prove anything. The contrast itself will speak. The same people who whispered will grow silent, not because you confronted them, but because your transformation will be undeniable. Listen carefully, this is not about revenge. This is not about humiliation. It is about revelation. The embarrassment your enemies will feel is not something you create. It is something truth creates when it finally stands in full light. There were narratives spoken about you that were incomplete. There were assumptions made about your future that were premature. There were predictions of your failure that were confidently declared. But what happens when the very outcome they were certain about flips? What happens when the opportunity they thought you would never receive finds you effortlessly? What happens when your name is mentioned in rooms you were never invited into before? That moment is closer than you think. You have been asking quietly, when will things turn around for me? You have been holding on to hope with trembling hands. And here is the shift. The turnaround will not arrive loudly. It will begin subtly. A call. A message. An idea that refuses to leave your mind. An introduction that feels small at first. Stay a little longer in this message, because timing is everything. The title you clicked was not random. You opened this at the exact moment you needed confirmation that your season is changing. Not in years. Not someday. But soon in a way that feels almost poetic. The ones who doubted your capacity will witness your composure. The ones who questioned your potential will see your progress. The ones who dismissed your consistency will watch your results accumulate. And here is the part that may surprise you, you will not even feel the urge to respond to them. By the time everything unfolds, you will be too focused, too grounded, too elevated in mindset to revisit old conversations. That quiet confidence you are developing right now is the real victory. Because when success arrives without bitterness, it carries a different kind of power. There were nights you replayed conversations in your mind, wondering if you should have said more, done more, fought harder. But restraint was part of your protection. If you had reacted emotionally, you might have disrupted the timing of what is about to unfold. Instead, you remained composed. You chose growth over noise. And that choice is about to reward you in ways you cannot yet calculate. Something huge is waiting for you, but it requires alignment, not desperation. Feel this deeply. The embarrassment your enemies will experience is simply the realization that they misjudged you. They underestimated your endurance. They miscalculated your trajectory. They thought your quiet season was your ending chapter, not understanding it was your preparation phase. When your breakthrough becomes visible, they will retrace their words in their minds. They will remember how confidently they spoke about your limits. And they will quietly revise their opinion without you ever needing to demand it. But this message is not centered on them. It is centered on you. Because here is the truth: if you do not open yourself to what is being prepared, you could delay what is meant for you. That is why this moment matters. That is why you felt drawn to click. Openness activates acceleration. Expectation sharpens awareness. If you move forward with doubt, you may overlook the opportunity when it arrives disguised as something small. If you move forward with confidence, you will recognize it instantly. Right now, there is a subtle shift happening in your environment. Conversations are changing tone. Certain connections are fading naturally. New alignments are forming quietly. You may not fully see it yet, but the rearrangement has already started. Stay till the end, because this is the part most people misunderstand. The elevation does not begin with applause. It begins with separation. With clarity. With a narrowing of distractions. What feels like isolation is actually focus being restored to you. You are about to step into rooms where your presence feels different. Where your voice carries weight. Where your ideas are not dismissed but considered. And the most unexpected part is this: some of the very people who once overlooked you may seek your insight. Not because you forced it. Not because you demanded validation. But because your results will speak in a language no one can argue with. Imagine the moment when someone who doubted you hears about your progress through someone else. Imagine their pause. Imagine the shift in their tone. That is not fantasy. That is alignment reaching its visible stage. And when that happens, remember this message. Remember that you were told in advance that the narrative would change. But do not rush it. Do not try to manufacture it. Your role is not to chase the outcome. Your role is to stay ready for it. Refine your skills. Protect your energy. Keep your standards intact. The breakthrough will not require you to compromise who you are. In fact, it will reward you for not compromising. There is a window opening. It will not stay open forever. That is why this message found you now. You are being prepared emotionally before the shift becomes physical. Because when it happens, it will move quickly. Faster than you expect. Opportunities that once seemed distant will feel accessible. Conversations that once felt intimidating will feel natural. Doors that once seemed locked will feel welcoming. Don't skip this internal preparation. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. The reversal is not about proving others wrong. It is about demonstrating to yourself how far you have truly come. And when everything aligns, when the outcome materializes in a way that even surprises you, the only response you will feel is quiet gratitude and grounded confidence. Something huge is waiting for you. Not chaos. Not conflict. But clarity. Recognition. Momentum. And when it unfolds, the contrast between what they expected for you and what actually manifests will be undeniable. That contrast is the only embarrassment that will exist, the realization that they never saw your full potential. Hold steady. Stay open. Because what is coming will not need noise to be powerful. It will simply be undeniable. And this is only the beginning. There is a moment approaching that will feel almost unreal, as if time itself paused just long enough for you to see the truth clearly, and when it happens you will finally understand why everything had to unfold exactly the way it did. The people who assumed your silence meant surrender never realized that silence can be strategy. The ones who mistook your patience for weakness did not recognize that composure is a form of power. And now, as the shift begins to surface, you are standing at the edge of a revelation so precise that it will feel orchestrated beyond coincidence. Don't skip this part, because what you are about to grasp is the core of the title you clicked. God is not creating embarrassment through chaos, but through contrast, through undeniable evidence that your path was always protected. Think about the subtle upgrades happening within you. The way you respond differently than you used to. The way certain words no longer trigger you. The way you walk into spaces with a steadiness that did not exist before. These are not small changes. They are signals. Signals that your internal world has matured enough to sustain the external elevation that is coming. Stay till the end, because most people only notice the visible outcome, not the invisible preparation. But you have been in preparation mode longer than you realize. Every delay refined your discernment. Every misunderstanding strengthened your independence. Every moment of doubt sharpened your self-awareness. And now, when the narrative flips, it will not feel accidental, it will feel earned. Here is the surprising part. The very situation that once made you feel overlooked is about to become the platform that highlights you. The conversation that excluded you will shift. The opportunity that bypassed you will circle back in a different form. The environment that underestimated you will begin to adjust its perception. Not because you demanded recognition, but because your growth made it impossible to ignore you any longer. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is not loud. It is precise. It is timely. It is aligned with the version of you that has learned to remain steady under pressure. You may soon witness a moment where someone who once doubted your direction subtly acknowledges your progress. It might not be dramatic. It might be a tone change, a compliment, a reconsideration. But in that small shift, you will feel the truth land, the tables have turned. And you did not have to argue, explain, or compete. The embarrassment your enemies experience will be internal, a quiet realization that they misread your potential. That they spoke too soon. That they formed conclusions without understanding the full picture. Do not underestimate how powerful quiet elevation can be. When success arrives without bitterness attached to it, it carries a different energy. You will not feel the urge to prove anything. Instead, you will feel grounded, calm, certain. And that certainty will radiate in a way that commands respect naturally. This is why timing matters. If this had happened earlier, you might have reacted emotionally. But now, you are ready to receive it with maturity. There is also something else unfolding behind the scenes. Alignments you cannot yet see are forming. People are noticing your consistency. Doors are being considered in rooms you have never entered. Ideas you once doubted are being validated in unexpected ways. You may not have the full picture yet, but movement has already begun. Stay present. Stay aware. Because when the breakthrough reveals itself, it may look smaller than you expected at first. A conversation. An invitation. A new direction. But within that simple moment will be the turning point you have been waiting for. Remember this, elevation is often disguised as inconvenience before it becomes visible as opportunity. What felt like rejection was redirection. What felt like isolation was refinement. What felt like delay was protection. And when everything aligns, you will look back at this season and realize that nothing was wasted. Not your tears. Not your patience. Not your restraint. Don't skip over your own growth. Do not minimize how far you have come. Because when the contrast becomes visible, when the outcome exceeds the expectations placed upon you, the shift will speak for itself. The same voices that once questioned you will quiet down. The same observers who doubted you will reassess. And you will not need to respond. Your life will answer for you. This is the threshold. The space between preparation and manifestation. The air feels different here. The energy feels focused. You are not chasing validation anymore, you are attracting alignment. And that is why this message reached you now. Not as hype. Not as fantasy. But as confirmation that the reversal has already begun. Stay centered. Stay expectant. Because very soon, something will unfold in a way that makes you pause and whisper to yourself, "This is it." And when that moment arrives, you will remember that you were told in advance. The shift would not come through noise, but through undeniable transformation. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is only the continuation of what has already started. Right when you thought the story had settled into silence, a hidden chapter began writing itself behind the scenes, and this is the part most people never see until it is already too late to doubt it. You have been standing in a quiet transition, sensing that something is different but not yet visible, and that subtle tension you feel is not confusion, it is anticipation. The title you opened was not dramatic exaggeration, it was a preview. God is about to embarrass your enemies, not through spectacle, but through precision, through a sequence of events so aligned that even you will pause and realize this could not have unfolded any other way. Don't skip this moment, because what you are about to understand may reframe everything you have experienced up until now. There were times you questioned whether staying silent was the right choice. You wondered if defending yourself would have changed how others perceived you. But imagine if you had argued, reacted, or tried to force recognition. Would you be this composed right now? Would you have developed this depth? The restraint you practiced was not weakness. It was preparation for elevation. The ones who spoke prematurely about your limits are about to witness something that contradicts their entire narrative. And here is the shocking part: the very area where they assumed you would fail is the exact area where you will rise. Picture this carefully. A situation that once made you feel small suddenly becomes the foundation of your credibility. A skill you refined in private becomes the reason you are noticed publicly. An opportunity that once slipped away returns in a form far greater than before. Stay till the end, because this turning point will not feel random. It will feel intentional, like pieces of a puzzle finally locking into place. And when it happens, the contrast will be so clear that no explanation will be necessary. There is a reason you felt drawn back to this message. You are standing on the edge of a shift in perception. Not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. You are no longer the version of you that needed approval. You are no longer defined by the opinions that once weighed heavily on your mind. You have evolved quietly, steadily, consistently. And now the world around you is adjusting to that evolution. Something huge is waiting for you, but it requires you to remain steady in this final stretch of preparation. Soon, you may encounter a moment that feels almost poetic. Someone who underestimated you might express surprise at your progress. A door that once felt permanently closed may open effortlessly. A conversation that once excluded you may now seek your input. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Confirmations that the narrative has shifted. That the story others wrote about you was incomplete. That your patience was not wasted. But listen closely, this is where many people lose momentum. When signs of change appear, doubt can try to resurface. You may question whether it will last. Whether it is truly happening. Do not let hesitation interrupt alignment. Don't skip the growth that has already taken place within you. Trust that what is unfolding now is a continuation of everything you endured with grace. The embarrassment your enemies will feel is not humiliation, it is realization. Realization that they spoke too soon. That they misjudged your resilience. That they underestimated your trajectory. And the most powerful part of all? You will not need to respond. Your life will quietly answer every doubt that was ever spoken. There is momentum building around you. Conversations are shifting tone. Opportunities are rearranging themselves. Energy that once felt stagnant is beginning to flow again. You might sense it in small ways: a renewed clarity, a sudden confidence, an unexpected idea that feels aligned. Pay attention to those signals. They are not random. They are indicators that your season is changing. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Stay aware. Because very soon, something will unfold that makes you look back at this exact moment and realize it was the threshold. The point where preparation met manifestation. The instant where silence transformed into undeniable proof. Something huge is waiting for you. Not chaos. Not confrontation. but clarity, recognition, advancement. And when it becomes visible, the contrast between what they expected and what actually unfolds will speak louder than any words ever could. This is not the end of the story, it is the rise they never saw coming. Just when everything seemed ordinary on the surface, an extraordinary reversal began forming underneath, and this is the moment where the unseen becomes undeniable. You may not hear thunder or see flashing signs, but you will feel it, a shift in atmosphere, a quiet confidence rising within you, a sense that something long delayed is finally aligning. This is not imagination. This is transition. God is about to embarrass your enemies not by tearing them down, but by lifting you up so visibly, so unmistakably, that the contrast will speak for itself. Don't skip this, because what happens next will redefine how you see your entire journey. Think back to the nights you questioned your worth. The days you replayed conversations, wondering how people could misunderstand you so easily. The moments you felt overlooked while others advanced ahead of you. None of that was wasted. Every silent tear built endurance. Every unanswered question built discernment. Every setback built depth. And now, depth is about to become distinction. Stay till the end, because the very thing you thought disqualified you is about to qualify you. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime revelation: the delay was never denial, it was timing. If certain doors had opened earlier, you would have stepped through them without the strength you carry now. If certain people had supported you sooner, you might have depended on them instead of discovering your own resilience. What felt like isolation was actually insulation. What felt like rejection was redirection. And now that you are ready, the shift will feel swift. You may soon witness an unexpected moment of validation. Not because you chased it, but because it will arrive naturally. A recognition you did not request. An opportunity that aligns perfectly with your growth. A conversation that shifts the atmosphere in your favor. And when it happens, the same individuals who once assumed you would remain stagnant will quietly reassess everything they believed about you. Something huge is waiting for you, but it is not arriving through noise. It is arriving through undeniable alignment. There is also a deeper transformation happening within you. You no longer crave approval the way you once did. You are no longer driven by the need to prove your value. You have stepped into a quieter confidence, and that confidence is magnetic. People can sense it even before you speak. The composure you developed in private is about to become visible in public spaces. And when your elevation becomes evident, the embarrassment your enemies feel will not come from humiliation, it will come from realization. Realization that they underestimated someone who was quietly becoming unstoppable. But listen carefully, because this part matters. Do not rush ahead of the process. The final stretch before breakthrough often feels subtle. You may feel restless, sensing that change is near but not fully seeing it yet. That restlessness is not frustration, it is momentum building. Stay steady. Stay grounded. Don't skip this internal alignment, because when the external shift occurs, it will move quickly. Imagine hearing news that places your name in a positive light. Imagine being invited into a space where your voice is respected. Imagine receiving acknowledgement from someone who once doubted your direction. That moment is closer than you think. And when it arrives, you will realize that the narrative truly has changed. The same story that once seemed uncertain will suddenly feel purposeful. There is a reason you were guided to open this message at this exact time. You are standing at a threshold. Behind you is preparation. In front of you is manifestation. The gap between the two is narrowing. Very soon, what has been forming quietly will become visible. And when it does, you will not need to announce it. You will not need to defend it. The evidence will stand on its own. Stay till the end of this journey, because this is not just about proving others wrong. It is about revealing who you have become. It is about stepping into a version of yourself that no longer shrinks to fit expectations. It is about walking confidently into rooms that once felt intimidating. It is about embodying growth so clearly that doubt dissolves without confrontation. Something huge is waiting for you. Not chaos. Not conflict. But confirmation. Confirmation that your patience had purpose. That your silence had strength. That your perseverance had direction. And when the shift becomes visible, when the contrast between what they expected and what unfolds is undeniable, you will stand in quiet assurance knowing this was always part of the plan.